Hey guys, good morning. Sorry I'm late. I was just like, I slept in, I guess that Coca-Cola that I had last night during the future readings kind of hopped me up a little bit more than I expected. So I was up late. I was watching Project Runway. I like my brainless TV. And so after I meditate, after I clear out my space and I meditate after doing readings and connecting to everybody, I like to just sort of zone out and watch some creative reality TV where I can look at other people and not necessarily read them, but sort of, I don't know, just kind of watch how human behavior works, which I find fascinating. And competition shows always bring out sometimes the best in people and the worst in people. So I like shows like Project Runway, Survivor, stuff where people are kind of pushed to their limits, and when their creative energy really kicks in, what they can produce and how they can produce it, and what ends up actually walking down the runway, which I think is very cool. So I did that last night, and I was 2 episodes behind, which I was unaware of. So I ended up watching both, and that was a little late into the evening for me. And then this morning I woke up and I got my dogs up at just before 7 a.m. I wake up without an alarm. I don't know what it is. And it's not even my dogs that are waking me. Good morning, Angel. Good morning, Becky. I'm moving slowly. I'm not saying good morning to people in the Facebook group right now because I'm slowly posting. I've been told that the reason why I go to Facebook jail is because I post to too many groups too quickly. And that what I have to do is I have to go slow, like post 1, 2, or 3, and then wait a little bit, post me more, so I can't see the screen if you guys are talking right now. I've joined a couple of other tarot groups, so I'm hoping that posting this there is acceptable. They do say paid online psychic tarot, blah, blah, blah. So I'm hoping that I don't get in any trouble for sharing my services, but these are the services that I give. They're quality services, and I don't understand why people are so threatened by other people posting in their groups. So I am posting, and we'll see. Maybe I'll get letters from these groups saying don't post in my group anymore, and then I won't. But hopefully that's not the case. I would love it if you guys would also like, share, and post the video in any groups that you belong in, where you think it would work or be good, and be of service to others, because that's what this whole point is. This is the morning forecast. It is running a little bit late. I don't know. I kind of like it a little bit later. I'm a bit of a night bird in general. I've always been, even in like school and grade school, I was the late bird. I used to show up late. So I used to always get to show up, like sleep in a little bit. And I tend to be more creative, and I don't know, I just have more, I like night because it's quieter. Just the energy is more mellow and it's quieter. So I stayed up late last night. Aside from burning down the house almost yesterday with Sage, I stayed up late last night. I'm still in my same shirt, don't judge. But I thought I would get online and get things going because I have a little bit of a busy day today. I have another showing on the house today. I had one yesterday that I felt like went really well. The funny thing is, and I hate to say this, hey, good morning, Liz Falconer. Good morning, Tammy. Good morning, Janice. Good morning, Kelly. The funny thing is like, I kind of feel like I'm settling into this house, and I don't know if I'm trying to sell it now. I mean, I could go without all the craziness of Mexico, but I'm kind of content in this tiny little apartment. So congratulations, Kelly, by the way. I saw your post, so congratulations. And I will see you tonight in class, which I'm excited about. So I have another showing today for this house, and then I have a showing for tomorrow at 10 a.m. So, hey Nancy, how are you? I watched your video last night, the new Luminous products you're doing with the airbrushing. It was kind of fun. It was cool. If any of you guys don't know, Nancy's a moderator here in this group, and she also sells cosmetics online on Facebook. It's a company called Luminous, I believe, and she has like airbrushing and all sorts of like color palettes. The cool thing is that she had a color palette called the Tarot series, and which I dug, of course, because I'm a tarot reader. But there was like the Moon palette, the World palette, and the Lovers palette, and they were all really pretty. The colors were beautiful. And if I wore more makeup, hell, if I even styled my hair, I might think about buying one. But they weren't very expensive. So if any of you are stop parking, please. If any of you are like cosmetic wearers and are interested in trying a new product, reach out to Nancy, because she would be sort of like your go-to to help you to find out about this new product that doesn't have sort of like a middleman situation going on in it, where it's direct from her, from the company to her, to you. So, oh, you're welcome, Nancy. And by the way, you kept complaining about your hair, and I know you do have a lot of hair, girl, but it's kind of like mermaid hair. Embrace that hair. I know people that would kill for that hair. Go ahead and get it cut if you feel like you need to get it cut, but it's so long and blonde and curly. It reminds me of a mermaid, and I just think it's way cool. All right. So, yes, Ducky is saying we will post a poll for the new time and daily report. Oh, your input would be greatly appreciated. That's a great idea. So maybe we'll run a poll this morning. I'll put up a poll this morning as to what works best for time, because before I was waking up at like 4 and 5 in the morning. I'm sleeping better now. So I kind of, what I find is when I wake up, I'm like, oh God, I gotta get up and I do the forecast. And I don't want it to become a source of stress for me or worry. And so this morning I got up kind of slow. I got up, did the dogs, went back to bed, got up kind of slow, and it's kind of late. It's almost 11, but it's really almost only 9 a.m. on the West Coast, and it's noon on the East Coast. So this might be an ideal time to do this, because I feel like I've had a moment. I had my yogurt and made my coffee, and I've got my music on and my incense burning, and I'm not so rushed to like get on and get it done. And I don't like that energy. I want to be able to spend time with you guys and enjoy what I'm doing and give you guys a really balanced, grounded, quality forecast for the day. So my other, the worrier in me wants to say, but that's kind of late. People need to know early on what to expect for the day. It's a forecast, Those weathermen, they're up at 6 a.m., bitch. But like, I am not those weathermen. They're not in a turquoise wife beater on TV. I mean, the glasses is probably the closest thing I've got on those weathermen. All right. So, good morning, Rose. How are you? So let's look at, and thank you for everybody attending the event last night. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I had a really good time. I hope people enjoyed the readings. I got the sense that they did. And I hope that, what was said there resonates with everybody. And if it's something that you choose to want to have to come to pass and experience, that those experiences do happen for you and happen smoothly and easily. Another thing, tonight is a full moon. So that's exciting. That means that there's going to be a little extra energy floating around tonight. And I believe the moon is in Scorpio, which Scorpio rules sex, death, and regeneration. Woo. Might be a good time to, I know the new moon is about like sort of letting things go, but sex, death, and regeneration always sort of sounds kind of extreme to me too. So maybe it might be a good time to really negotiate, what it is we want in our lives and how we want it, and kind of clean things up a little bit and start focusing on not necessarily the creation of new stuff, but sort of like just taking a good hard look at what is there and going, is this working for me? And then handing it over to the full moon, and let's see what the full moon does with it, with the power of that. And even if it's just a little extra energy, go out and enjoy it. And sex, death, and regeneration is not a bad thing. Sex gives life. Death is something that happens to all of us that actually is the birth of the next life, right? And regeneration is about regenerating, which is sex and death. So, who knows? Tonight's full moon could be a totally transformative experience for any of us, if we choose to use it as such. And remember too, that's funny, like on Sunday, our cards, even though they were inverted, the lovers we had for the last end of the week card. So that lovers card, which I think we kind of uprighted some of these cards because we were having really powerful cards through the midweek, the lovers still underlays all of this. So if any of you find like the opportunity to, have some Scorpio full moon nookie, get on it because it's going to be good. I have a feeling that it's going to be good. Okay. All right. So let me get shuffling. Okay. So for the collective, May 18th, Saturday. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to say this. It doesn't feel like the energy is resistant, but it feels sort of sluggish. Like if we're slow to go today, or things are moving slower than we would normally would like them, that's okay. Just relax into it and let it happen. It is a Saturday, so like just relax, enjoy your Saturday, get things done as you need to get them done. If people are moving a little bit slower than you would like, or communicating in a slower way, or whatever it is, just let it be. It's not that big of a deal. Just enjoy it. It may pick up by later tonight, but during the day today, I think people are going to be a little bit more, as I yawn, are going to be a little bit more, I don't know, moving more slowly, methodically, more well thought out, more planned. Does that make sense? So don't let that frustrate you or get in your way. Okay. So the card that I've got here is the Seven of Cups, emotional card. And that's fine. Our emotions are not a bad thing. They are what they are. And it's the fear card. So the Seven of Cups, let me look at this for one moment. I'm writing it down. It's funny to me when I look at this card, I feel like, is there something that we as a group collectively, or some of us maybe specifically, are in fear of losing? And when I look at this card, it doesn't feel like it's actually the reality. It feels more like it's this self-made fear. When I look at the way that the cards played out this week, we started with the sun, and then we had that dullness card, which was a mind card. Like it's almost like we keep going back and forth in our head. One day it's good, the next day it's shitty. The next day it's good, the next day. And then we had the Ace of Crystals and the Ace of Wands, where it feels like, we might have been lining up our like mental thought patterns and our spiritual patterns to kind of line up and feel good and empowered and feel right around Wednesday and Thursday, right? And then on Friday was this Fool card, which the Fool card is never a bad card. It's the beginning of a new journey. It's the beginning of a new outlook. It's the beginning of a new perspective. There are people, I did mention yesterday in yesterday's reading, which you can reference back on YouTube, I did reference that the Fool card had a definite sense of people wanting us to stay a certain way. Like, don't change too much. Don't take on too many new things, right? But the Fool card is all about that, about like new adventure, new thought, new pathways, and opening ourselves up to that, right? So if we opened ourselves up to that in little bits yesterday through however, like new ways of thinking, new ways of approaching things. Yes, there was a little bit of fear, a little bit of trepidation in there, a little bit of the unknown in there, but it felt sort of exciting and maybe, pushed us forward a little bit into trying to do something new or different. It feels like the Seven of Cups is coming up, like, because now we've moved in that direction and we're like a little fearful, like, uh-oh, did I make a mistake? Did I do something wrong? Am I going to like piss everything off or everyone off? Am I going to lose everything behind this, crazy cockamamie, it's almost like the Ace of Crystals and the Ace of Wands were having us thinking bigger than we normally would like to think, or than we would normally feel comfortable thinking, right? Like dreaming and thinking. And then the Fool is sort of like a naive card in the sense that the Fool's like, okay, well, fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it. We've only got one life. Why not? Let's go down this path. Let's see what happens, right? And we start to do that. And yes, there's a little trepidation or nerves around that, but that doesn't stop us. We may have the voices of the people around us going, what are you doing? That's crazy. You can't change that. You can't do that. That would be like career suicide, or you can't move right now. You can't break up with that relationship. You can't, you know, uh, give up your job and start a gardening business, whatever it is that this thing is for you, right? I'm just using this as an example. Well, now that we've set that off and we got excited by that idea and we felt that energy and we got kind of, juiced by it and jazzed by it, that kind of, I feel like this fear card, it's sort of like it has spooked us because we're like, well, wait a second, what little we do have that is working, quote unquote, or we think is working, we don't want to lose. But the thing here in this fear card is it's like what we're trying to hold on to, although it may be precious and it may be what is familiar, it's not necessarily always what's working, right? It's just what we're familiar with. And I feel like this card says to me that we're worried about getting caught up in our emotions. We're worried about getting caught up in making too many changes too quickly that we can't control the situation. And I think part of that is because we did have so many heavy cards through the week. Like we had the Sun card, we had the Ace of Crystals, and the Ace of Wands. All of those pack a big punch. So whatever shifts we've been having mentally, physically, spiritually, assessing our situations, and then the Fool comes in, also major arcana, which says, okay, let's begin anew. Let's start something different. Let's go a different route. All of that stuff is going to be big, energetic, inspiring, exciting, but it's also going to be scary. And that's where this fear card comes in. And if you weren't scared, like I will say this, if you weren't feeling fear or weren't feeling like a little bit of emotional worry about, if I do this or if I go out on this limb, what if the limb breaks and I fall out of the tree? Then you'd be crazy. You would be like, you'd be a daredevil, you'd be impulsive, you'd be more like, I don't know, the Magician card where you're just like, you just don't give a fuck because whether the tree branch breaks or not, you're going to fall and you'll make it look like you meant to. But this fear card says to me that you don't want to lose what you have, but what you have is not enough, and you know that, okay? Whatever that may be, if that's career, if that's love, if that's home, there's still room for improvement, and you know that. And there's this push on one side of you that's saying, go for it, go for it. That's these heavy hitter cards of, the aces going like, what can we do next? How can we expand? How can we get bigger? How can we make our life even better and feel better and be more abundant? And the Fool's like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's take this trip, right? Let's get on this. Your mind here is now kicking back and going like, wait a second here. And it doesn't necessarily feel like it's an honest, true card. Like, yes, you could lose some things. Yes, some things could change. But I think in the end, those changes ultimately, even if they felt like losses at first, would be beneficial for you. And they would also move you out of this space of fear. Holding on to anything in the energetic, how do I want to say this? Holding on to anything with the energy of fear is only going to get you more fear, right? It's only going to make you worry more. It's only going to make it all that more serious. It's only going to make it also, I have to say this too, it also can set you up for losing something quicker to force you to face that fear and to realize that the loss of that with what it is that you're holding on to so tightly wasn't that important to begin with, and that we need to move on. So, and then I go back to Sunday's cards, and we did have that middle of the week Sunday card, which was the Nine of Crystals narrowness, which is a mind card. So this makes sense to me too about like narrow-minded thinking and getting caught in that and having that kind of, we had the Seven of Crystals dullness on Tuesday. So we have been kind of having this back and forth with our sort of more inspired thought and our spiritual self and what we want, like deep inside, versus what our mind thinks is safe for us to go after and have. And maybe our mind is going to tell us today, oh no, keep it cool, keep the energy low, keep it slow, don't get too excited. Let's just keep it in a space where what we have is good enough, and don't cause too many eruptions, right? For some of you, because this is a collective reading, this card could also represent that some emotional upheaval may happen today. And if emotional upheaval does happen today, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a rather sort of large situation or a situation that kind of feels like it's overwhelming to you. Don't worry. You can hold on. You can weather it. You can get through it. I definitely get that from this card. I'm definitely hearing that back here. So if there's some of you that feel like, oh shit, the rug's just been pulled out from under me, and I feel like this has to do with like sort of family situations and stuff, I'm not sure if I'm specifically speaking to one person in the room or somebody that's going to watch this video later, but that fear that you're having and that overwhelm that you're having, although does feel real and it is scary, you will get through this. You will be able to retain your like composure, your self-respect, and all of those sort of things, and you will be able to weather the storm. Just stick with it and stay strong. Okay. But for the majority of you, I think that this is just your mind sort of kind of backing up and going, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. You were thinking a little bit too big. And yeah, that was fun, but that was all just a daydream. That's what our ego wants to tell us, right? Our ego wants us to be like, yeah, you know, you could create a business you love and live happily ever after, but does that really happen for everybody? Is that really all that easy? That's what this card feels like to me. And so the truth is it is that easy. You can like create the life you want and live as if you're living it and watch it come to you. The hard part is, I mean, it's easy, but it's hard in the sense that you really have to believe it. You really have to put the energy and the attention into focusing on it. And you really have to feed it. Like feed it your energy, feed it your attention, feed it your joy, your feelings of abundance. Almost feel it as if it's already happened, right? If you can't do that, any little bit of the raising of your vibration is going to help, right? It's going to get you closer to that goal. But we have, as human beings, we have a tendency when we go off the plan or the feeling or whatever it was that like set us in motion in the first place, we tend to throw it all in the garbage and go, see, I was wrong. Because we have so many societal messages and so many different messages that we watch our parents struggle our whole life and all of those sort of things that we kind of reaffirm stuff that is old information that wasn't even for us. We've just sort of inherited it by being around it and witnessing it. And so don't let that hold you back. You know, if you want something, go after it. If it feels scary that you're going after it, like this fear card, that means you really want it. That means it's really something good. And that means that even if you go after it and you don't get it completely the way you think you're supposed to have it, at least you fucking tried. And at least you showed up, and at least you pushed your boundaries, and at least you grew a little, and at least you trusted yourself, and at least you listened to yourself, and at least you put yourself out there enough to try. And I'd be more than willing to bet from a try, you're going to find that you're not going to lose everything that your fearful mind is telling you in this card that you're going to lose. And let me tell you too, and I'm not trying to be judgmental, but what you're holding on to in this card, although it's familiar and special to you, it doesn't necessarily feel as though it's that important if you were to lose it or completely change it into something different. So I'm going to leave you with that. I hope to the new groups that I've posted in that this is fully acceptable. It is my daily reading forecast that I give for everybody that watches the forecast. I have private reading sessions available. They are in the descriptions on both YouTube and on Facebook. If you're interested in doing that, you can always contact me personally. Please like, share, and follow my business page. I do have a Facebook group. We do polls there where we do special pop-up tarot nights from the group on certain subjects. I run a poll and people get to pick what the subject is that they want. And those readings are usually like charged, gets you to like a paid reading, gets you to the front of the line. But then I always do like 1 or 2 frees at the end, just for those of you that don't know me or want to, you know, just so it's not all, you know, I like to give back. And sometimes I just do full on free nights where it's just 1 card pull for whoever is in the room for free, but that I do for people that are members of the group. So, and I know some groups don't want you advertising your group and this, that, and the other and blah, 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 but you know what? I can't follow everybody's rules all the time. I'm a good guy. I'm not here to create drama. I'm here to do readings. I'm here to spread light and do work. The funny thing is I got an email from Lightworkers of the World. I guess somebody posted my video in Lightworkers of the World, which is a huge audience, but you're not supposed to post in there. You're supposed to post in Lightworkers live feeds, which I do. And I got tagged last night. And so I asked her, I said, did I post in here? I'm sorry about that. And she said, yes, you did. And I said, oh, I didn't know. I didn't realize. I said, if it's easier, I can leave the group because, I don't want to make this mistake again. Because you have Lightworkers of the World and you have Lightworker live feeds. So they're very similar on the list. So if you press post, it's hard to know, right? And I don't want to break anybody's rules. And she's like, and it says in the post something about, well, there's too many other places to do readings. This is not a reading place. We have a much more important mission here. And then when I go and I look at the wall of the Lightworkers live feeds, it's all memes. It's all like, what work are you actually doing? You're sitting at a computer running memes. But then when there's an actual live person on video trying to help people or trying to give people insight, you don't want to allow that because you're afraid your feed is going to be too full of too many people actually connecting with other people and maybe inspiring them. So I was like, I don't know. Like, if your work is that important to you, you might want to actually look at what's going up on your wall. Yes, there was requests for healing, which I think is beautiful, but a lot of it was just memes and stuff that I was like, well, if this is what light work is, then what are you actually doing? You're posting somebody else's quotes. I don't know. That was just my intention. So I left the group. Just so and I don't have anything bad to say about the group. It's a fine group. It's a ton of people, and they're probably wonderful and beautiful people. But it's just interesting to me because it's we're a light workers group, but we don't want you working your type of light because it's a live video giving away free readings. You need to go do that somewhere else. So that to me is sort of okay, all right. Is that because maybe the owner of the group doesn't know how to read or doesn't want to read or doesn't, I don't know. It was really weird because this is a form of light work. Hopefully I get something out of it every day that I do it. And hopefully the people that I read also get something out of it. And we all walk away feeling a little bit lighter in our day. So don't let the fear get to you. If it gets to you today, if the worry starts to kick in, remember it's only for today. Tomorrow will be a new card. Tomorrow is Sunday, so we'll do the 3-card spread for the week. Again, any of the new groups that I've just joined, if I've done anything wrong or made an infraction of any kind, please message me so I can either change that or I can disengage from your group so that I'm no longer offending you or your members. Okay? And if anybody has a message for me or anything like that, if you need a question or whatever, feel free to message me either at my business page or on my personal page. Although my personal page, sometimes I don't always see the messages because they go to another folder. So it's best to use the business page because those I get alerted and I see them pretty immediately. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. That was very chatty and almost 30 minutes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hey, Colleen Carey, I'm about to sign off. So I will talk to you all later. All right, have a good night or a good day. And I will set up a poll today at some point, hopefully today, if not today, tomorrow, about the next subject. Enjoy the full moon. It is in Scorpio. If you find yourself drinking a little too much, sexing it up a little bit too much, feeling a little sexy and on edge, enjoy it. Have fun with it. Scorpio's a great energy. It can be a little bit opinionated and kind of a pain in the ass and vindictive, but it's a great energy and a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to end the stream now. Have a good day, you guys. Love you all. Take care.